Episode 2, Gone with the Wind. Wind forms when you have a hot day. The air gets heated and rises up, forming a slab of hot air up high in the atmosphere. The hot air then cools and begins to sink. The sinking motion rushes in to replace more hot air that's rising, which forms something known as the wind cycle. Hot air rises, cools, sinks down to rush into its place, heats up, and rises again. The rushing motion is what we call wind. This cycle is a pretty big factor in weather already, but what happens with the wind cycle is even larger. When you have massive warm air rising and a lot of cool air sinking, the warm air rising can be called an updraft. Updrafts carry water vapor with them. The water vapor condenses into clouds while the air cools and sinks in a downdraft. Downdrafts can be so strong that they knock the updraft sideways. In this case, there's so much water vapor going up that the cloud gets really dense and the downdraft gets even stronger. Lightning strikes, rain starts to fall, you have a thunderstorm. That massive updraft could reach all the way to the top of a thundercloud. Thunderclouds have, at the top of thunderclouds, there are frozen pellets of ice. Frozen pellets of ice fall and then have more water droplets form around them. But the updraft knocks the water droplets and the frozen pellets back into the air so they solidify into a larger crystal. This process can repeat for up to hours until the crystal becomes too heavy and falls out of the cloud. We call that hail. Downdraft can do some pretty cool things too. If you have such a strong downdraft that flies down to the ground, it hits the ground and explodes and flies across the area. That's known as a microburst. There's one more factor that wind does. For this, you need wind shear. Wind shear is a change of wind direction with height. When wind shear enters a thunderstorm, they hit each other and the wind begins to rotate in a counterclockwise spiral. The updraft can then knock the side of it over, turning the rotating motion upright. You now have a supercell. For the rest of tornado mechanics, though, I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger until our next episode on hurricanes and tornadoes. Hit that subscribe button on your way out.